All right, welcome into Sunday night live edition of Back to the Bullpen. We're going to talk about this series sweep and what is going right for the Astros. Man, when the ball bounces your way, it flies over the big green monster in Boston. Let's go.
I'm looking to the bullpen to bring my lefty in. Keep the lead and make your team look pedestrian. It's in your wheelhouse, we'll swing for the fence. You know it's money around here, man, I ain't talking expense. Strike one, heat low in the way, you can't hit it. You know you want to start a rally, but you better forget it. Strike two, off speed, same spot, your car looking. Get ready at the plate, this time you're not cooking. Strike three, swinging out of the zone. You ain't even touch it first. Tell me how they gonna drive you home. Walk your back, looking like we ain't cool then. The game's over, might as well put them back to the bullpen, oh yeah.
That's right, and we are back to the bullpen. I'm here with my guy, Mike Stanton. We are here. The Astros just made mincemeat out of the Boston Red Sox. 6 straight wins in Boston, 5th win in a row. This team is rolling. I'm H-Town Wheelhouse. You can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok. Look, you can find the show at Back to the Bullpen. Go to YouTube, Instagram, iHeartRadio, X. You can find us, and you can find Mike. Mike, where can they find you, sir?
Only one place, and that's going to be on X, formerly known as Twitter. I might just keep calling it Twitter.
There you go.
I mean, X, you listen, Elon, very, incredibly smart guy, incredibly rich guy. X, swing and miss. so on Twitter, on X, Mike Stanton Mike Stanton 29 is where you can find me.
There you go. And I mean, look, this series, I actually spoke with the radio station in Louisiana, Southwest Louisiana, ESPN, the flagship station for the Astros on Friday. And they were asking me, like, what do you think the Astros are going to do? And I said, bottom line is they're going to go to Boston. They like playing in Boston, and the offense is going to wake up. And, when you have the pitchers you do going this weekend, the offense, all they have to do is get you a few runs, pad that lead, and say no more. And let me tell you, Ronel Blanco didn't last as long. Of the 3 starters, probably had the worst outing of the 3, but it wasn't terrible.
Right.
And maybe going out with only 4 or 5 innings, maybe that's not such a bad thing. That's not he doesn't pitch as many innings. I don't know. I was like, well, maybe a short outing, maybe the blessings and the curse for that game. But Spencer Arrighetti comes out.
Wow.
15 strikeouts?
15, count them.
The first time.
Oh, wait, is it 15 or 13? I think it was 13.
13 strikeouts. Because he was the first American League rookie to pitch 12 plus strikeouts, 2 games in a row. It was just a masterful performance. You had Hunter Brown after the game today say he wanted to one-up Spencer Arrighetti, and he said, I didn't quite make it. You that competition, and we'll even get into some DeCenzo talk as well. But what was your impression of this series? I mean, wow, wake up offense, right?
Well, and you have to remember who they're doing it against. This is not the Boston Red Sox of 2023, which was we'll just call it a horrible team. This is a team that's actually been playing the bat well, and they have some good offensive players. They've been scoring runs. Their pitching staff has been a little bit in shambles since the All-Star break. So that's not surprising that the Astros offense really picked it up. But I think the dominance of the Astros pitching, I don't want to say is surprising, but is just a pleasant occurrence. I mean, it was really nice to see these guys. And man, did you see Spencer Arrighetti strutting around on the mound? That dude was absolutely feeling it. He knew that they weren't going to hit him. And you got to love the fact strikeouts are great. Strikeouts are sexy. But there was one number that I really liked, and that was the number 1, and that's how many walks he had in the innings that he pitched. So with that number of strikeouts and with no walks, chances are you're going to pitch very well. I was actually there when one of Clemens' 20 strikeout games.
Wow.
And what the crazy thing was, it was against the Detroit Tigers. They actually hit him. But it was like any time that he got 2 strikes, he struck the guys out. That wasn't Spencer Arrighetti. This was actually a dominant performance with him putting up great numbers across the board. But the 13 strikeouts was a really big number. And it just shows you when you get ahead in the count and you have really good stuff, you got a chance to get the swing and miss. And that's really what we saw. We knew he had good stuff. It was just one of those situations that, he's going in the past, he would go, ball 1, strike 1, maybe strike 2, ball 2, ball 3. And now all of a sudden the pitch count is up. The hitter's back in the account. But what you really like is the fact that when he got 2 strikes, dude just went really aggressive and put the Red Sox away. And you saw that with Hunter Brown today also.
Yeah, exactly. And this is an offense that really before the All-Star break was the best offense overall in the American League. They have been hitting the ball. Yoshida started hitting again. You got Wilmer, the guy that we gave them for Christian Vasquez was he's a good hitter. Their leadoff Duran. Connor Wong, a local product out of Pearland and U of H. I mean, they've got guys on this team. They've got young guys on this team too that can play.
Sure.
Hamilton, their center fielder that made an amazing grab. He's originally a shortstop, but he was playing center field today. Absolutely took a double away from DeCenzo.
Well, listen, they've been a good and they've been winning series. It's not like they've just been hitting. They've actually been winning series since the All-Star break, but the Astros just took it to them. And they were kind of put behind the 8 ball with Paxton going down with the injury after only throwing 5 pitches. Now, everybody is sent scrambling in the bullpen, and we know that bullpen works.
Right.
But the other side of this is that also means that you have to run a whole bunch of pitchers out there and they all have to be on top of their game. Well, the Astros really took care of business with the 4 and 5 spot in the 4th and 5th inning, I think, something like that. They just put up big numbers and then Hunter, even though he didn't go all that deep, did a nice job of getting the swing and miss. And then the bullpen did their job also.
Exactly. I like a thing that Baseball Savant has on their page. It has the WPA leaders, the win probability added. Hunter Brown 22.7, Jose Altuve 12.7, Yordan Alvarez 8.3. These guys just like from top to bottom this entire game, Mike. You get 10 runs, you get 13 hits, and something I heard amazing about Hunter Brown today. He's like 4th or 5th in the league in the percentage of balls that have been barreled that he's thrown, and it's only like 5%.
Yeah,
and
so it's that particular stat means that they're not barreling the ball.
Right,
he's missing barrels. It's weak contact. It's swing and miss.
So only 5% are like getting a solid hit.
Right,
and also what is amazing about not only Hunter Brown but Arrighetti is the big issue they had both coming into the league when they both came in. When we talked about many times how we thought, man, maybe it's a little early for Arrighetti, maybe he's being and even Hunter when he came up in 22 really was the walks. And like you mentioned,
right. Well, when Hunter came up, it was a different situation. The Astros were rolling and he came up and he was a reliever. Now, the difference was Arrighetti came up they had no choice. They had to bring somebody up. It was a necessity. It was an emergency. And I don't think he was ready. But I think what he has shown is he's shown his mental maturity that, if you remember, go back to the first start against Kansas City. He dealt for, I think, 3 innings and then gave up a 7 spot. So what happened there? You want to talk about the snowball rolling down the hill and just getting bigger and bigger and faster and faster. That's exactly what happened. And that was those first several starts. That was the issue with Spencer, was that he, the big inning was killing him. The big number was really ruining the numbers that he was putting up there. And what have we seen from him? I mean, we've seen the high end. This was, he had the 7-inning shutout a few starts ago that he was outstanding. This start here, you're seeing a lot of swing and miss. A lot of that has to do with the opponents, but a lot of it has to do with his own stuff. And so I don't think it's any doubt that the stuff has always been there. But what you're seeing is you're starting to see a guy that's pitching with a lot of confidence. And when you're a young dude and you have confidence and you're striking out big league hitters, man, you can strut all you want, and that's what we saw from Spencer today. It was or yesterday. It was pretty awesome to see it, and again against a really good offense. And what's the upside? I don't know, but I'll tell you what, he's pushing the envelope right now.
Exactly. I mean, if you just go through Hunter Brown's 23 starts that he's made this year. I mean, you just look at it, no decision, loss, no decision, win. And all of a sudden, his last 15.
Well, that's when his ERA was like 9.
Yeah.
I mean, through 7 starts,
exactly.
his ERA, it wasn't like, oh, well, it's just 2 or 3. No, we're talking about almost 2 months. It was like, it was like 6-7 weeks of baseball. He had an ERA of 9.
And now it's at
below 4.
3.38 or something. But get this. So he had a win,
3.98. Just barely. Hey, but you know what? It's from where he's gone, where he was to where he is now. Absolutely amazing, because you want to talk about a guy that has turned around his season. And the thing is, when your ERA is that high and it's in that many starts, it takes time. This isn't something that the innings total is small, so you throw a couple shutouts and you cut your ERA in half. No, this has been a long process, and he's been hovering just above 4 for the last few starts. But I love the fact that he finally got it down below 4. Does it mean anything? No, it just looks better. It's just optics.
Right. It is. But what I do love, though, is these guys are getting these W's, and the offense is helping them do that.
Yeah.
And then you have Josh Hader. You have Hader coming in. Before I get to Hader, I almost forgot this. When Hunter Brown left the mound today, they put in Caleb Ferguson.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh Lord, Caleb Ferguson's going to give up all 3 of these base runners.
Well, they had a lead. I
know they had a lead, but I was thinking of Hunter Brown.
Wait, Mr. Optimistic.
But seriously, I was like, if Caleb Ferguson gives up these 3 runs,
you started chewing your fingers like Altuve, didn't you?
Yeah, that dude gnaws on his fingernails like nobody's business. No, I was sitting there going, when he gave it the 1 run, I was like, why would you put? Wow, and of course, I'm sure Hunter Brown. I don't know. I can't read his mind, but I'm sitting there thinking, Skip, can we get a different guy on the mound? Because Caleb's
here's your thought.
Yeah.
When you're a pitcher, it doesn't matter, starter, reliever, whatever. My approach was always, and it had nothing to do. I mean, Mariano could be coming in behind me. If I left dudes out there, they're scoring. I'm just accepting it. They're scoring, so it doesn't piss me off. It's got nothing to do with the other guy. And if they don't, hey, that's even better. So it's funny that you say that, because I always laughed. When I was with the Red Sox, and Clemens was pitching. He used to say for all those years, he said, he would have reached 300, 4 years before, but early in his career, he would be walking up the tunnel and he hadn't even got to the clubhouse yet. And they're already cheering because they had given up a couple. The bullpen had already given up his runs and got the no decision. Wow. And he was backhanding us being the bullpen that he had, that, he had a good bullpen then. So that was kind of funny. Clemens a great guy. Love him to death. One of my close friends, but, yeah. And listen, so that's the approach of the pitchers, that when you leave runners out there, just think that they're going to score. And one did. I mean, he did give up the base hit, but then he got the double play. And, Dana Brown told us at the beginning, he said, listen, this dude's going to pitch some leverage innings. He's going, we need him in the bullpen, because he's got such a good arm. And it's been a little rocky road so far as an Astro, but maybe this is one that he can actually build on, going out there and doing a nice job.
Yeah, exactly. One of the things you can do if you're just trying to build on bettering your image, you can get one of these back to the bullpen shirts. I mean, you just walk around town with this. I mean, this is all the swag you need, right? Maybe they'll give you like a free loaf of bread or some extra.
That's right. You might get free stuff. You might not, but you might get free stuff.
You might get up to 25-pound dumbbells. So
I'm throwing a flag on 25-pound dumbbells. I don't believe it. I think you're using those inflatable ones. It's all full of air.
That's what I get. Hey, man, look, all I know
25's is written on in Sharpie.
Well, I put in my order to pick up at the grocery store tonight at 8 o'clock, and they had Wi-Fi issues, so I was not happy about that. But, first world problems, right?
No doubt.
But seriously, check out. You got the QR code. Get your Back to the Bullpen shirt. Definitely do that. Also, make sure you go to 1616 South Friendswood Drive and tell Ever Cruz that we sent you. Back to the Bullpen sent you. Get 10% off your haircut. That look, it's back to it's back to school time. Ever was actually at City Mark Church here in town giving out free haircuts at the church. That was
believe it.
So he is a man of the people.
Work in the community. Very nice.
Definitely. And dude, talking about like I saw a feature and I haven't watched it yet, but apparently Josh Hader's doing some cool stuff in the community while he's here.
He is. This is a good dude, man. He he had a big event. He signs, on the sidelines at the stadium. He does. I mean, he's legit. He's legit.
And this guy has 25 straight saves. He's converted 25 of 26 now. He is got a 188 batting average against.
Mm-hmm.
And when he got here, his first taste was a little like, it was like, whoa, we paid a lot of money for this guy. And, everybody expected because of the contract. Well, that means there's no blemish. It's all perfection. He's not going to give up a run.
Right.
Different clubhouse. He settled in. I think he was probably in baseball purgatory a little bit being in San Diego. He didn't really get to, get his foundation. So he comes here. It's a homecoming pretty much for his wife. She's from Corpus. And so they
homecoming for him. I mean, this is where he started.
Where he started. And, he wanted to be here. So, I mean, you can't say enough about Josh Hader. I mean, Josh Hader.
So he blew his first save.
Yeah.
And then, it was, you listen to the Astros fan. Oh my gosh. Now he has given up. It hasn't been, it hasn't been all roses. He's got several losses.
Right.
Yeah, but those are coming in. He comes in a tied ball game. He's been bitten by the long ball. That's been his biggest issue. He's given up 8 or 9 home runs, something like that, which is a lot in the innings that he's pitched. But he's done his job. I mean, I'm going to continue to say this. His job is not to have a 0 ERA. His job is to save baseball games. When there is a save, when they bring him in and the Astros are winning, his job is to solidify the win with the save. And that's what he's done. 25 straight is a remarkable number. I think it's second only in the franchise history to
I believe Brad Lidge.
Brad Lidge, yes, that he actually had. It's a few more than that, but I think that I think Josh has a chance of getting that record. Now, he's still got to do some work. He's still got to put up some zeros and get some saves, but he's been outstanding. He really has. I mean, like I said, it hasn't always been pretty, but bottom line is when he pitches in a save opportunity, in a save situation, Astros win.
And another part of their winning, I think, has a little bit to do with the fact that, look, Yordan Alvarez is tearing the cover off the ball, but this is the first time in a long time, if ever, he's played 5 games in a row in left field. Mm-hmm. And in those 5 games, he's hitting 368, 7 hits, 4 home runs, 7 RBI, 5 runs scored. This guy has woken up. He had the multi-home run game over the weekend. Mm-hmm. You saw him and Bregman go back-to-back today. Bregman's home run was the longest of his career.
Wow, yes.
441 feet. And then Yordan hit 448 feet.
Wow.
So Yordan's like, let me go a little bit further.
1,000 feet of home runs in 2 swings.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and it's good to see Bregman hitting the ball hard because that always has not been the case. But the swing is there. He's generating the power. The thing is, Yordan might hit 80 home runs if he played at Fenway, because his swing is perfect for that ballpark. When one of the times that I played with the Red Sox a couple of times, you'll hear that a lot. I played with a lot of different teams. Was blessed enough to play with Mo Vaughn. Mo Vaughn was the same thing. Big left-handed hitter, drove the ball to the opposite field very, very well with that short porch and the green monster. Just made for that ballpark. And
Right.
Yordan, Yordan can go out of any park in any direction, and he does a pretty good job at Minute Maid also. But I'll tell you what, Fenway, he would be just incredible numbers.
Well, they
if he
were
played there all
saying,
the time.
that he's getting compliments from around the league, getting comparisons to guys like David Ortiz, and he's getting a lot of high praise. And the thing I love about Yordan is I think that he seems to be one of the best pure hitters when it comes to power hitters. Typically your power hitters, they're not all, I mean, very few of them have a sweet swing like a King Griffey Jr. or a Harmon Killebrew, have that sweet, just amazing, some guys just go up there and just crush it, Mark McGuire's, guys like that, Mickey Mantle's, but he's just a pure hitter. He hits doubles, he hits singles, he gets on base. He's got a dang good arm when he's in left field, and he bats a little over 100 points higher average wise when he's in the field. And
he's always been that way.
Yeah.
When he first started, he was a good player when he DH'd. When he was in the field, MVP caliber, and the numbers were incredible. Now, it took him a couple years to figure out exactly. And David Ortiz, you brought him up. That's a great name, because he had to figure out how to be a DH. DH is not an easy position, okay, because you have so much time on your hands. You got to figure out what you're going to do in between at bats. And, some guys can sit and watch the game. Other guys, need to get their swings in. And everybody is completely different. And you have to figure that out. And, but Yordan has always been a guy, and I think a couple years ago the numbers were pretty even, but this year, he's gone back to being a better player when he's in the field, and you understand why. I mean, you're a full baseball player now, not a part-time baseball player, and like I said, DH is not an easy position because of all the downtime. What are you going to do with yourself?
Yeah, exactly, and you've got to stay mentally into it. Some
do. Some don't. Actually, it's the opposite. David Ortiz was not a guy that grinded it out. He would go up in the clubhouse. He would swing off the tee. He would do different things because he would be mentally fatigued if he just sat there and watched the game and really tried to concentrate. So everybody is different, though. There is no right way. You just have to find your way. But yeah, Yordan has always been a better player when he's playing in the field.
So we had several players go deep and go out of the yard in Boston. DeCenzo, the rookie, his first major league home run, his family
with a flippage, a bat flip. Yeah.
Bat flip and a little bit of attitude when he stepped on the plate. Look, this kid's earning everyday playing time. And I actually made comment of this on the other show that I don't think this is a bad thing for Singleton. I think Singleton is a good person that is a role player off the bench, left-handed bat. If you put him in as a defensive replacement, you're not losing anything.
Right.
And you don't have that at many. There's not a whole lot of guys on the bench that are left-handed that can go in for you and play an admirable first base. You're like, oh, who are we going to stick over there now? He's out or whatever. And so DeCenzo goes yard over the monster. You've got Yainer Diaz goes yard in the rain over the monster. I mean, Altuve again, over the green. This team just loves hitting in Boston. So my question to you is, and I know it's one series, but this is the 5th game in a row. Do you think this momentum stays, or is there still an ebb and flow because we're still in August?
Yeah.
We're not in September. We're not close to the playoffs. I'm having to remind myself every time I get excited about the playoffs. I hear you say, Brett, don't put the cart before the horse.
That's right. Calm down, big boy.
But we need, I mean, obviously an offense isn't going to stay hot for 2 straight months. But if they have it now, and Kyle Tucker, they say, we'll talk about that here in a second, maybe coming back a little sooner rather than later, it's just a good sign of things that they can do and things to come.
Well, one of the things that has been, strange about this season is the Astros have always been a better road team than home team, especially offensively. At times, substantially better on the road. And that hasn't been the case. They've actually played a little bit better at home, but it's a lot of it has to do with opponents and who's hurt, who's not, a lot of different things going on in the lineup. But right now you're starting to see them play a higher quality baseball, higher quality offense on the road. Because again, you have to remember that they did this against the Boston Red Sox team that has actually been playing very well. They did it against the Texas Rangers in the last 2 games of that series. It looks like this team is starting to build their confidence, which is great for Astros fans, not so much for fans around the league.
Yeah, exactly. The only real counter to that right now is, good Lord, Seattle just swept the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle's offense is getting hot too. I mean, Seattle's not going away. Now, the Rangers are like 10 games behind. The Rangers are really kind of fading. Evaldi and I believe Scherzer are going back to Texas for evaluation. So there's more stuff with them. I mean, you've just got these oft injured pitchers. They haven't had DeGrom come back. And so I really don't think that the Rangers fight their way back. Now, there's still a lot of baseball, yada, yada, yada. We know all the baseball cliches. But the Astros are winning, but so are the Mariners.
Yeah.
The Mariners are hot on our tail. They're literally percentage points out of first place. This is going to be a pretty intense battle down the road because I think one team makes it, everybody else is on the outside.
Well, the other side of that is, and I looked earlier today, I need to make sure that these numbers are right. So give me just a quick second.
Yeah.
The Astros, so Seattle is, dead even. Astros have them by 1/1000th of a point. So they're basically, let's see. Seattle has one more win and one more loss. That's where you get that's where you get the numbers. But Seattle has played well enough, and the Astros have played well enough now that they're only 2.5 games
that's
out
true.
of the wild card.
That's true.
So
that's true.
We'd been saying for weeks that nope, win the division or that's it. Well, these guys are playing good enough now that they're reeling in the wild card also. Astros need to not concern themselves with the Seattle Mariners. They need to concern themselves with themselves and whoever their opponent is. And, they're in a tough stretch right now. This Boston series was one of those series you're like, ooh, this could be tough for the Astros because the Boston Red Sox were playing so well. And, the Astros flat out took care of business up there in New England. And, now they're going down to Tampa. And, Tampa can be a very tough team, especially in Tampa. So, they have to not really, have a happy flight going down to Florida. But once you get down there, now it's time to get locked in and get you a little Ray for dinner.
That's right. There you go. I like that. Yes, sir.
Have a little seafood.
Some fried stingray. So Kyle Tucker is apparently meeting the team in Tampa. Now, I think he's from Tampa, so that helps. But I believe that Joe Espada said he's really excited because he believes that it's possible that he could start running the bases this week while they're in Tampa, which he can. That's a good thing, and so I guess we'll see, Well,
here's the good thing is if he's going to run the bases, that means, coming back from an injury like that, coming back for any injury, there are many hurdles that you have to get across, have to get over. And, for him to get to running bases, because you run bases, you're not running in a straight line. So there's additional pressure on the ankle, on the leg. So, that is a good sign. So because we don't get a whole lot of reports.
Yeah.
He must have been running. And so things seem to be progressing. He's probably going to have to borrow one of Yiner's shin guards when he does come back. It's not going to be just that little thing that he's the just the partial. He might be wearing his whole front leg might be
King Tut. It would be called King Tut's armor.
That's right. That's right.
And it'd be some new.
Barry Bonds used to have this huge elbow guard that went from like here all the way up here, and it actually stuck out. I can't believe that if anybody but Barry Bonds, they probably wouldn't have let him. But yeah, he's going to have something. It's going to be Kevlar. It's going to all. It's
bat suit
pads, and it's probably going to have Wi-Fi. Who knows?
He'll probably, like in the Dark Knight series, when Morgan Freeman is making all of Batman's stuff, he's like, I can't turn my neck. I can't do this. Right. They're going to put this armor on Tucker. He's like, Coach, I can't see the picture.
Yeah, right. Why is it on my back leg? Well, we just want to make sure you stay healthy.
That's right. Or just wrap it in bubble wrap.
There's something.
But seriously, when he comes back, who's going to go down? Now, Pedro Leon has been a mystery. He played today. He hasn't really, they haven't been playing him hardly at all. Aledmus Diaz, I don't even know why he's on this roster. If I'm being completely honest, he played the first game he came back, and then you haven't seen him since then. He's on a milk carton right now. He's missing.
Yeah.
I don't even know if his contract allows them to send them down, but I'm assuming it would be someone like a Leon who's not getting playing time.
Well, because when you have a prospect, you don't want them sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
I mean, that's real. You want them to continue to swing the bat. You want them to continue to progress. And, that's why you have a guy like Aledmus Diaz, is because a veteran guy, you sit him on the bench and you're okay with that. Not that he's okay with that, but you're okay as an organization because, he's your security blanket.
Right.
But, Leon, that's probably the one you sent down just simply because you want him, he was swinging the bat well when he came up. You want him to continue to do that and continue to progress. And so that would probably, but you never know. I mean, that's why Dana gets paid the big bucks, is he gets to make the hard decisions.
Exactly. So we heard that Garcia is still not throwing.
Mm-hmm.
Garcia, I'm starting to think that we're going to get news on Garcia, much like Lance McCullers, because look, I think the whole Tommy John thing, and you can speak to this. The assumption now is, well, Tommy John surgery is more advanced and people can come back, this amount of time. It's still, from what you've told me, it's still an 18-month recovery, no matter how no matter how you slice it, it's still almost 2 years. And look, it all depends on how your body responds to the surgery too, right?
Well, I mean, you get to, 15 months, 18 months, and maybe those numbers are a little elevated, but what we're talking about is getting back and being a dude again, not just being there, but actually, being your old self. But I think it's 15 months just to come back. Okay. I know that you look at it and you say that there's a lot going on, but right now, I mean, why are you going to push it? Because he's still not throwing, so now he has to build up again, and the clock, it's getting late early here. So for a situation like this, you really need to get him right. And if it's not till next year, okay, it's not till next year.
So one thing I want to talk about before we wrap things up is ask if you saw the silent treatment that they gave DeCenzo when he came out. And it was great because DeCenzo played along. He was giving air high fives, patted himself on the helmet. Mm-hmm. And, I remember they did that to Jose Altuve one time. And Jose Altuve is like a little kid. He walks to the dugout and he's jumping around like a little, 10-year-old that just hit a home run in a Little League game. And when I see stuff like that with this team, it never ceases to amaze me. And it doesn't surprise me anymore that this team, when they recognize a guy that is there to work, that is ready, like when Jeremy Pena first came up, I mean, Altuve is like, he's going to be a superstar. I mean, they No, and the Astros bring up the right guys at the right time, and they rarely miss. It seems like they've really hit the nail on the head with this DeCenzo kid.
Hey, and he's playing well. And when you're a young guy like DeCenzo, it does well in any of them. If you're producing, you're going to play.
Right.
Especially when you're talking about being in the dog days of summer of August, then down the stretch in September. That's how it's supposed to be. If you're producing, you're supposed to be in the lineup. Does that mean you're in the lineup every day? Maybe not. I mean, you still have to spread the at-bats around, and
right.
That's an issue that Joe Espada has on a daily basis. But bottom line is, if you're getting the job done, then you got to be in the game. And unfortunately for John Singleton, who has done an adequate job, has done even a good job defensively, you understand that, the dude's getting the job done. So, I don't want to say this is a Wally Pipp situation, but, that's kind of that happens, guys that produce stay in the lineup, and, right now DeCenzo's getting it done.
He is. Last year, Evan Carter did that for the Rangers. And was a huge boost.
It was
their
a
World
Series in the
Now,
postseason. Oh my gosh!
Right. I mean, and who knows? Maybe someone like a DeCenzo can be that guy. Caleb Ort, the dude.
By the way, for people that don't know what happened to Wally Pipp, that was Lou Gehrig.
Yes, that is.
Wally Pipp was the starter. He took a day off. Lou Gehrig got like 3 hits. He played the next day, and then he played for the next 12, 15, 18 years, whatever it was, having the record of consecutive games.
That's great. I love it. But it's just, and I do want to close on Caleb Ort, because this guy, we came from Baltimore. What a great pickup. What a great pickup. This dude,
big arm. Good night.
He can throw some gas. So, yeah, look, I think there's a lot of good things to see. I think there's a lot of, coming up. The Astros' next home series is Hall of Fame weekend, and they're giving away the second part of the Altuve 2000 hit bobblehead and all this stuff. And so there's a lot of really cool things to look forward to. So, Mike, hopefully the Astros take care of business in Tampa. Maybe we'll come back maybe on Thursday or something, talk about it before we get to the home series.
Mm-hmm.
And just see if these Astros are continuing to roll. You got any final thoughts?
Hey, it was a great series. You got to love the fact that this team looks like they're playing with a lot of confidence. But, where they've played well in Boston, they haven't necessarily played well in Tampa. So Tampa Bay Rays may not be the best team in the American League, but they are a very tough team at home at Tropicana Field. So the Astros are going to have to buckle their chin straps, because, this is a tough time in their schedule. But if they keep doing what they did, keep swinging the bat, those pitchers, especially the starting pitchers, keep doing their thing, the Astros are going to be just fine.
Definitely. Let me just remind y'all, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure that you help us get to 1,000. Look, the next 10 people that DM me on social media, I'll send you a free Back to the Bullpen sticker. You just got to send me your address so I can mail it to you in an envelope. The next 10 people, the first 10 people I get DMs from with your address, I'll send you Back to the Bullpen sticker. How's that sound, Mike?
Oh, you are just so generous. It's just dripping off you right now.
Well, hey.
Well, we got to go because you have school tomorrow.
I do. Well, hey, for myself, for everybody from the Ramshirt Studios and everybody at Stay There Barbershop, and Mike and myself, we are out for another session here in the bullpen. We appreciate you coming back to the bullpen, and y'all have a good one. And as always, go Stros.
Adios.
I'm looking to the bullpen to bring my lefty in. Keep the lead and make your team look pedestrian. It's in your wheelhouse, we'll swing for the fence. You know it's money around here, and I ain't talking expense. Strike one, heater low in the way, you can't hit it. You know you wanna start a rally, but you better forget it. Strike two, off speed, same spot, your car looking. Get ready at the plate, this time you're not cooking. Strike three, swinging out of the zone. You ain't even touch it first. Tell me how they gonna drive you home. Walk it back, looking